One of the features I think is so important for people, and I constantly have to think about this myself, is just resilience. I know that comes up a lot. We have a conference room actually at our work named Resilience, which I think people made fun of a little bit, but it's really important. It's the ability to fail and pick yourself up. It conveys that. It conveys hard work, putting one foot in front of the other, pivoting when you get news or information that is upsetting or doesn't comport with how you've been operating, and you just have to figure a different direction. That's such an important concept, I think, generally in life, but also in the workplace, because you do work as a team. You don't run everything. Not everything goes the way you want. If you don't take risks, you won't make big change. You won't accomplish big things. But taking risks means you also fail sometimes. And we learn from our greatest failures as long as you're willing to kind of pick yourself up and keep going, which is really hard, I know. But that's a very important feature. I think as a manager, another really important concept that we impart at TCW, but I've been really focused on, is building a credible team. So how do you think about your team as a collection of people who have different skills? How do you build those skills up? How do you turn them into kind of a subject matter expert who, when you're off sitting in interviews like this, you have a team who would, maybe not do things exactly the way you would, but it will be high caliber, timely, helpful. And you can't do that as a manager if you're constantly micromanaging, or if you're not building up and supporting your people. So that team element, how do you support them, but also how do you get them to play to their strengths? We have people on our team, for instance, who are just not really good writers. They feel a lot of pressure writing those monthly insights, or, so great, that's not what you do. Here's what you do. You're great at pitch books or whatever, data analytics. That's what you bring to the table. And trying to figure out not just your subject matter expertise, but your mode of operation. Are you introverted? Are you extroverted? Are you going to be the person who I should invite to the client dinner? Or are you a better person to showcase depth of knowledge as a research analyst? It's important to get that team functioning, and you get so much more than you could have done on your own. And it's such a concept that I don't think I didn't really figure out. I had to kind of get there when I had my own team, but the more people I think like that, the better you're going to operate, I think, in life and at work. So it's an important one, I think. For the advice I would give to the younger crowd, students who are just coming into the workplace, it's that two things. Have a view. Always have a view. Go into every meeting knowing what you would contribute and what you would ask. Have a view. Don't be afraid to communicate that view, but also go and ask your boss how you can be helpful. And don't be afraid to work really, really hard in your younger years. You will learn a lot. You will go farther. That just, I think, is so appreciated when I have someone come up to me and say, hey, what else do you need? You get the cool project that I hadn't figured out how to kind of deal with yet, or I pull you into something where I really am struggling and your contribution is helpful. That is such a great opportunity to excel, to demonstrate your capabilities, and then just to show that you are that teammate. And so that's definitely something everybody should do. It doesn't matter if it's week 1 or year 2. Do it. And you're in college and you know what you want to be. And you're, I don't know, an econ major or a business analytics major, or you just know, I want to be an accountant. Great. I am glad that is what sparks your fire right now. Pursue it, but be really open to the potential that that is not what you're going to end up doing, right? And so instead of thinking, I want to be this role, think, I want to follow those things that I'm really interested in and that I love. And it will take you in super weird directions potentially, but you're constantly going to be learning and excited about what you're doing along the way. So I started as an art history major. I then realized, oh, I'm not going to get a job in this. I need to pivot. I need to take more poli-sci classes. I got a job at a consulting firm during the dot-com, situation. That wasn't me either, but it was okay. I just tried one thing, didn't like it, no problem. Learned what I could, worked really hard, found another, went to grad school, really loved macro, found a cool teacher, and I said, where can I do this every day? And he said, well, you could go to the New York Fed or the Treasury Department. And I thought, okay, great, Treasury's down the street. How do I get an internship, right? And it just, I just went from one thing I loved learning to the other thing I loved learning. So I didn't wake up one morning and say, well, gee, I want to be the head of sustainable investments, or I want to be chief operating officer, and that's my next objective. It's not, but that's my next objective. And I'm going to figure out all the things to get me into that role. I think instead people should really think about what you love, because if you love it, you'll do it for 24 hours a day and you'll exceed at it and it will be easy and joyful.